All right, we're live. All we missed from before I clicked go live was ask questions. Okay, night 2, visualizing your data. So, again, this will be kind of the overview for tonight. We won't go a full 30 minutes since the night 1 homework was relatively simple, but normally, we'll have 4 or 5 people come up tonight. We'll just pick a few. I'll teach for about 20 minutes. We'll take a quick break. The lessons are hand-on section for an hour. We're going to be building bar charts, line charts, and scatter plots. We'll take another break, and then we'll have the hour at the end for the homework. And again, I was saying this to a couple people before. You do not have to do the homework here in class. Like, I have that time scheduled because I don't want you to have to do anything outside of the hours you've committed to do this. But it's a Wednesday and you have 5 days, until Monday or whatever. Feel free to dip out if you need to. Just make sure you send that homework to me before Wednesday. Or before Monday, sorry. Okay, so storytelling. This was what we tried to do. We found a data set, we downloaded the data set, we connected it to Tableau. So really what I'm interested in today is just one, what is the data? Where did you find it? Why did you choose it? It is okay if the answer is the first one I saw in Tableau Public, that's fine. But really we're just trying to, instead of me just teaching at you guys, we're trying to do some shared learning together. So giving other people ideas of why you found that interesting or where you found the data is beneficial. So I am just going to go in order of the Slacks you guys sent me, cross-referenced with who's actually here tonight. So I think, Razu, if you don't mind, I will pull up your Tableau. And again, just 30 seconds to a minute, what the data is, where you found it, and kind of what you put on the page here. I'll pull it up for you so you don't have to worry about sharing the screen.
Yeah, the data set is about the Hollywood's most profitable genre. It has, the data is about, it has information about the film, which genre it is, the lead score, profitability, Rotten Tomatoes percentage, worldwide gross year. And on this data, on this diagram, I just showed the which genre has the most worldwide gross, and the highest one is from the comedy, and then followed by romance, then drama and animation, fantasy and action. I got the data from Tableau public dataset.
Perfect. It sounds like there is a lot of very interesting stuff in there that you can continue to work with. That's something that I want you guys to keep in mind as we're going through this. A lot of people will find a data set night 1 and realize it doesn't work super well for a lot of the assignments. They have to go to something else. Totally fine if you find one at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the semester, month, whatever we want to call this, and you want to stick with it for all 8 nights, totally fine. If you want to find a different set each night, that's totally fine too. But yeah, it sounds like you found a good one here. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, up next, we will do Kimberly, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I originally wanted to do something. Hopefully you can hear me.
I can, yeah. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'll pull the feed over. Okay, you're good.
Yeah, so I did this. These are baby names that are popular by state. And then if you scroll over to the right, there's like a legend that's male. I couldn't figure out how to change the colors from like male to female. So that's the blue is female and the orange is going to be male if you click on that. So I originally wanted to do something weather related through the NOAA data set that was at the bottom of the Tableau Public. It was like sources for data sets. And then when I tried to import it, there actually wasn't that much data in there. So when I opened it, there was just like some data that I didn't really understand, like latitude, longitude, and then some things that I couldn't really make a good visual of. So then I was like kind of scrambling, looking through the list to see something that interested me. So because it was like, this was like baby names from like 1900 to 2012. So I had to narrow it down to like 2010. So for the year
Oh,
2000. And it was like listing all the baby names. So it was like really, really too much information. So then I had to narrow it down just to like 1 year, male and female. And then when I originally did the bar graph, it was just like too crazy looking. So that's why I put it on.
So it's like every baby name every year and like the number of people that were named it, or what's the data kind of look like?
Popular baby names for each year, but it was like 1910 to 2012, male and female.
Yeah, I can imagine that to get a little busy.
Yeah, so it was like super busy. So then I had to narrow it down by just 1 year. And then I thought it would be easier, cooler to see it on the map because it was by state.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that would be super cool. That seems like a really good data set because you have some geographical stuff, you have some numerical stuff, you have some categorical stuff. As we start building out some of these different, like after tonight with the bar chart, line chart, and scatter plot, I think you'd come up with some good use cases for that data set for sure. And you said you found that on Tableau?
That was on Tableau, yes.
Perfect. Sweet. Thank you very much. Next, we will do let's go, Mary.
So this data set also came from Tableau Public. It was a data set that covered the changes in jobs by employment for millennials versus baby boomer generations, broken out by state, broken out by city, broken out by industry. It's sliced and diced in a lot of different ways. And I chose the data set just because I was curious about how generation affects, career choices or employment. I played around with it a lot with different types of charts and different ways to put things in rows or columns or whatever. There's a ton of data in here, and much like Kimberly was finding, it was real easy to have a really ugly mess. So I finally settled on just picking 1 year and saying, okay, for a given occupation for that year, how many baby boomers versus how many millennials were in that occupation.
So there's actually multiple years in here too?
Yeah, there's 2 different years, and then there's, then it's segmented by state, by MSA, by all different other ways, and then it's also got calculations in it for the percent of change for any given career between 2007 and 2013, the share of all the jobs, so it's sliced and diced.
Awesome. I bet there's a ton of good stuff that you could dive into for that, especially with multiple years and seeing how some of the stuff changes over time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my SQL skills just were not up to actually, there was, I think, more I could do with it if I could join and do some other things, but I'm just not that sophisticated yet. So,
not yet. We'll be good. Sweet. Okay.
that looked good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the main goal of homework 1 was just making sure you could click a save button and get it here. So A+ there. Let's do one more before we get going. Let's go Maria Teresa, if you don't mind.
Yep, mine is like so rudimentary. Oh gosh. Number of dwellings. Oh yeah, I tried a couple of data sets and they were ugly. And this one I picked, these are Airbnbs in Manhattan and Brooklyn, I think. And I picked them because I just spent a week trying to find an Airbnb for me and my 92-year-old mother in California.
Oh, there you go.
It was top of mind. And so these are just property type, the number of property types. So if you scroll down, and I think those are regions. Is there a legend? I probably didn't even put a legend. Oh yeah, so I didn't put a legend. So sorry. So it's in neighborhood. So in each neighborhood, it's the number of those types of dwellings. So the most are apartments, and then next are homes, and then lofts, and then a couple of Airbnbs. So really ugly, not very informative. But
you got it published, and that was
but
the goal.
I got it done. I think I told you that first night that like the artistic part of visualization is my complete downfall. So hopefully by the last night it'll look a lot more informative and prettier.
Yeah, I am, and you got this one on Tableau Public as well, right? I think
I did, yeah.
People have used this one before. Most important question: did you find the Airbnb in California for?
I did.
You
I did. I did indeed. I needed a walk-in shower, and there's not a whole lot of walk-in showers in Airbnbs because my mom's 92 and going blind, so stepping into a tub was not an option. So, but yes.
When you guys out there?
So we leave on Friday. I basically she lives in Southern California, so I'm flying from here to Southern California, kind of picking her up, and then we're flying up to Northern California for my niece's wedding.
Okay, no worries. I'm going to teach for like the first 20 minutes or so, then we'll take a break and I'll come over and use before we do the hands-on section. Okay, sweet. Well, thank you guys very much for sharing. You lucky for being the first four to Slack me the homework. Got the privilege of doing the easiest homework assignment or presenting the easiest homework assignment of the year where there's no expectations. So congrats. Next week we can all judge everyone based on their homework assignments because we'll actually know what we're doing. Just kidding, of course. Okay, let me share this again real quick. Okay, so we're gonna cover a few things tonight. There's some real basic, I mentioned this last week, UX, which stands for user experience principles, that we can apply to 99.9% of all the data vises that we make. There's three kind of key rules that I always like to keep in mind, and really the only three rules that I teach in this class. So we'll go through those. Then we're going to get into the top three essential data visualizations to know: bar charts, line graphs, and scatter plots. You should all be familiar with these. They're everywhere. They are also, again, I'll use the same percentage I just said, about 99.9% of the data vises I make. Maybe that's not right. Maybe closer to 90 that I make on a day-to-day basis. The other 10% is like an Excel table view. And occasionally I get to make something really fancy and pretty. But if you learn kind of the core principles of these three, it'll make everything else kind of building on top of it easier and easier. So if you remember from the syllabus, tonight's basic charting, and then next Monday we'll get into some of the more advanced stuff with some area charts and pie charts and donut charts and all sorts of Sankey diagrams and things like that. So my caveat tonight, one, was that it was going to be really boring and we were going to dive into a lot of detail and verbiage and stuff. My caveat tonight, two, is we are going to get a ton of repetitions in, especially early on in the class. It's a lot of just figuring out how Tableau works. So we're going to do the same thing. You're going to watch me do it, then we're all going to do it together. Do it again slightly differently. We're just getting used to the layout and the use cases here. Like I said, we're just going to build on stuff every single night. So getting kind of the core principles and the core charts down tonight is just going to benefit us moving forward. If we have extra time, which we pretty much always do, we will get into some tooltip and some dashboard design stuff as well. Okay, so I kind of already covered this last week. We kind of covered everything Tableau can do at a really, really high level, going about 1 inch deep. Tonight, we're just going to cover a very narrow section, which is the bar charts, line charts, and scatter plots. And we're going to get really, really deep in learning pretty much everything about them. There's my 90% stat I quoted. And I always like to say this. I do think tonight will be the most impactful night of the course, because if you understand kind of the core UX principles, the core Tableau kind of layout buttons and how to make these three basic things, everything else is really kind of the same layout, the same thought process, the same workflows inside of Tableau. You're just doing more of them to build more complicated things, or you're spending more time looking at the data. But I think tonight's the most impactful. So if you have questions, please ask. People that are remote, please blurt out. The volume is actually very loud on the TV, and I'm standing right beside it, so I'll hear you, and we can go from there. Okay. So I always like to preface this. I made these slides. I stole a lot of the principles. So Edward Tufte. Has anyone ever heard of Edward Tufte before? You'd be a weirdo if you have. I have. He is the, I don't know, grandfather, godfather, whatever you want to call it, of data visualization. So he wrote this book, The Visual Display of Quantitative Information, like before computers were a thing. And it was just him. We actually used to have it at work. I don't know if we still have it laying around. If we do, I'll bring it on Monday. It was basically him explaining how data should be displayed using pen and paper. So, with rulers and compasses and T-bars and everything else that you'd use for charting. It was a lot of the same stuff that we still use today before Tableau did it for us. Really, really cool. 50 years later, this guy named Maladeep, who this is his Medium, actually it's called Towards Data Science, which is a branch of Medium. I follow him. He's fantastic. You guys should follow him too if you like reading blog posts. I'll send the PowerPoint out after, so you don't need to write this down. He pretty much did a 50 years later, here's where Edward Tufte was right, here's where he was wrong, here's how things have changed, here's how it does stuff for us. Really, really interesting. I mean, that book's like 300 pages, and Mala has like 50 blog posts. I stole, like 10 slides that I think were the most impactful of the two to teach you guys. So I wanted to caveat that because I'm not taking credit for this. I'm just learning from some really, really smart people. So there's this concept in data viz. Well, I guess there's two concepts. There's exploratory data analysis, which you'll hear me refer to as EDA a lot. That is where they say here, a conversation between designer and the data. This is just you and your computer. Someone asked you a question. You're digging around in the data to try to solve the answer. It's fast, it's scrappy, it's ugly. You're not making time to make sure everything's aligned. You're not taking time to make sure everything's aligned right, or matches your company brand policy, or is pretty colors or anything. You're just literally diving into the data, tossing anything against the wall, trying to figure out what trends you can see, what hypotheses you're forming. It's just you're exploring, exploratory data analysis. The next phase of that, you find your insight, you find your aha moment. That's how we're going to save the company $1 billion, whatever that could be. Now you're ready to go and present to an audience. That could be your team. That could be your manager. That could be a group of people in a classroom that you're teaching. That's where data visualization comes into play. So that's for the audience. It's no longer for you. It's now a conversation between the data and the audience through you. So you're not a part of it anymore. You built the data for the audience. And I always like to hammer this home because I can't remember who raised the question last week. I did some really ugly chart. Someone was like, no one's going to be able to understand what that is. I'm like, it's a great point. It was cool to me. I had fun making it. Maybe I found it impactful because I'm used to playing around in Tableau and I understand all these different charts are. But it's no longer for me. It's now for the audience. So you have to kind of put ego aside and dumb stuff down, make stuff look pretty. It no longer matters. You may understand it already, but it's no longer for you. So how can you make other people understand it? That's what we're going to be covering tonight, is the data visualization side of things. How do you build stuff for an audience? We will have lessons. I think lessons 6 and 7 are both around how to analyze data in Tableau. And that will get kind of into the exploratory data analysis. We'll build some ugly stuff that will help us find trends. But tonight, pretty simple. Here's how we can do it. So I did come up with this. I had 3 rules for good data viz. Crossed it out, expert, crossed it out. Promotion worthy data viz. If you scroll around on Tableau Public, I am never, like we did that on Monday, I cannot build data vizes that look like that. And you will not learn how to build data vizes that look like that in this class. But also those data vizes are never going to be used in a boardroom. They're never going to be used at a startup. They're never going to be used at you at home trying to organize your kids' chore charts or whatever it could be. It's used for fun and to brag and show off your skills, which is awesome. But it's not going to get you promoted. If you try to present one of those at your company, they'd stare at you and they say, how long did you spend working on this? You could have just tossed it into Excel, right? So again, managing expectations, we're going to build beautiful, simple things that people can read and instantly understand, and they're going to compliment you and you're going to get promoted. So the 3 rules: data ink ratio, chart junk, and 1 + 1 = 3. So I'm going to go through these kind of one by one. So my guy, Edward Tufte, defines data ink as the non-erasable core of the graphic, or in other words, the data ink ratio is the proportion of ink or pixels that make up the data information of the view. So a lot of fancy words to say you should always build your charts with the least amount of ink possible. Again, he said ink because he was drawing them. We say pixels because we're doing them in Tableau. And it's such a sick line, actually. I'm such a nerd, but I love this quote. Above all else, show the data. When people like argue and like trust their gut and are bickering about stuff, they show me the data. So I'm going to show an example here. This is an example of a chart that has very low, really poor, really bad data ink ratio. What are some things on this chart that we could improve to improve the data ink ratio? There's a couple obvious ones, and there's a couple that we'll have to think through. But who sees an obvious one?
It's less ink.
Mm-hmm.
You have labels in 2 places.
You've cheated because you've taken the class before, but yes.
I said the same thing last time.
That's an obvious. That's not necessarily an obvious one. We have the bars colored, and we have a key up here. This is penguins and body mass. The Adelaide penguin, the chinstrap penguin, and the Gen 2 penguin. I'm not a penguin expert, so if I butcher those names, don't come after me. So I'm looking at the color, then I'm looking up here to cross-reference what is what. But then I also have labels down here that already tells me what's what. So I could either get rid of these labels, and then I'd have to use the key, or what I would probably like better, if we already have the labels here, let's get rid of the color. Already there, it may not seem like a lot, but already right there is a cognitive decision I had to make of where I'm going to look to try to understand this, where something that's pretty straightforward, I should be able to tell right away. What else can we do?
Is it sort of
So yeah, potentially over here on the axis ruler, we have 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Do we really need that level of visibility? Maybe even the lines that go across here. I think I mentioned this on Monday. If it's something that you're actually trying to show this thing weighs this amount, I always prefer a label. Just put 3 numbers on here. How much does the Adelaide penguin weigh? How much does the Gen 2 weigh? And how much does the chinstrap weigh? Or don't put them at all and just show that, hey, this one relatively weighs a ton, this one relatively weighs a little. But again, do I want them to try to see this one's in between 45 or 50, or should I just put the label on there? Someone online said something.
Yeah, I was going to say something about duplicate. The title is not very descriptive.
Yes, titles. You can get away. You can save so much ink on your data viz with an appropriate title. So here, I kind of like the title, Penguin and Body Mass. Pretty straightforward to me. But I already have the body mass is in grams, so I don't need body mass over here in grams. And then I'll take it even a step further. I have penguin on this chart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different times. If I know they're penguins, then why don't I just say Adelaide, Gen 2, chinstrap type of penguin? There's maybe actually 2 more. One's the most obvious one on here. Someone has to say it.
I was thinking there's like extra grid lines on there that don't need
grid
to be.
line. That's a great call. I personally hate grid lines. I think there's way better ways to show how much something is than try to reference where a grid line goes. I was going to say species at the top here is really unnecessary. I can either make my title more descriptive, like someone said, penguin species, and how much they weigh in grams would be a great title. That would get rid of almost everything below. And then the last thing that this is the obvious one I was referencing, I'm surprised no one said, is the gray background. Super unnecessary. I know it seems like a small thing, but imagine you have 10 different charts all on one dashboard, and they all have this color of gray behind the bars, and then things start to blur. Are they actually separate charts? Is this one of the same charts? Unless you're trying to make like you're working at a company and their brand colors are blue and purple and you want to have a purple background with blue charts. Unless you're doing something like that, white background. So let me show you the inverse of this, of what has high data ink ratio. Voila! Penguin species and body mass. 55 grams, 47 grams, 34 grams. Adeline, Gen 2, chin strap. That's it. You look at this, you know it in 2 seconds what it's trying to show because you read the chart. Your eye line follows exactly down. That one weighs the most, that one weighs the medium, that one weighs the least. You can tell exactly how much they are, and it's straightforward. Again, a basic chart. It's not like anyone was scratching their head over like what this was trying to show, but we're trying to teach the basic concepts with basic charts because as we build more and more complicated vizzes, it's become more and more imperative that we follow these laws. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Gray background, get rid of the legend. Each bar can be labeled directly on the x-axis. Oh yeah, another thing. This isn't necessarily data ink ratio, but it's like a classic data viz flaw. Cutting the axis off. Were you gonna say that?
I was like, why is it starting at 35?
Exactly.
It misrepresents.
Yeah, because you look at the poor chin strap penguin, you think he weighs nothing. He's a pretty hefty guy. Yeah, he's only 20 pounds lighter than Batley. I don't know why I'm assuming the penguin's a guy, but they're right there. So zooming that up, that shows a much closer representation. The bolding was another kind of weird thing that annoys people. Why are some things bold and some things aren't? Grid lines. I personally hate grid lines. I'll say that a million times. I'm just teaching you guys my opinion on things. You can make your own artistic choices from time to time. It's funny.
It runs, it meets the qualification that you were saying, like the last thing.
Yeah, especially when you have a lot of things on there.
Is valid.
But it is funny. I have 6 people on my BI team right now. I can look at pretty much any Tableau dashboard and know exactly who made it because everyone kind of has their own style of doing things. It's like, oh, Mitch likes to have his titles in blue, and Kayla likes to show her. She's a big fan of the double axis with bar charts and line charts and the same thing. Like everyone kind of has their own style. So definitely take these core principles, but then make it your own. Tailor it to your audience, tailor it to your company, tailor it to yourself. Okay, any questions on data ink ratio? All right, number 2, chart junk. This is one that I would love to not have to cover, but it is something that every time I do class, someone wants to be an overachiever and add extra stuff onto their dashboard to show that they know how to do it. Anything that's excessive and unnecessary use of graphical effects and graphs. Kill the frills and get to the point. Edward Tufte, I'm sure super fun at parties. Show me the data, kill the frills, get to the point. Like as analytical as they get, but his quotes are awesome. So like Weather Channel is a huge offender of this. They love to have like some 3D bar charts with some rainstorms going on in the background, and a dual axis with a pie chart that's swirling around like a tornado. Kill the frills, get to the point. Here's this next one. What's the obvious chart junk on this?
Penguin.
The penguin in the middle. What about data ink ratio? What are some other things that they are doing poorly again?
You don't need the legend.
Legend's bad. Labels are bad. Penguins on there a ton. Pretty much all the same things that we just said. Legend's unnecessary. Good job. Penguin in image is not necessary. I like how they actually called it out. We may disagree with this. It's for understanding purposes only. I thought the penguin was kind of cute. There are times, right? If you're going presenting at a zoo to a bunch of kids, maybe put some penguins on there. But if you're in a boardroom, maybe cut the junk, kill the thrills, and get to the data. Okay, the last concept, which I would argue is maybe the most important, is the concept of white space. So white space is what is in between your data, right? On this PowerPoint right here, I have white space in between each bullet point that you see that kind of separates them there. It improves readability, ensuring our graphics text clear and legible. It has been shown to improve content comprehension by 20%. White space helps readers understand the content by creating a sense of order and flow. It is one of the creative tools helping to more effectively convey a message and much more. So I'm going to show you a real basic example. My main point that I'm trying to show on this slide is white space is an element. Use it. Right now, everything looks ordered together one by one by one. That's the top one, but it doesn't necessarily stand out. Yeah, I even have it in all caps, and it kind of blends in with the rest of my text on here. Look at what adding just one little space between that and the rest of my bullet points does. The eyes logically go there. White space is an element. Use it. They can tell that's the main point. Title is actually a good example too. 1 + 1 = 3. You read that, then you go down here. So this is going to be really important to remember as we start putting together dashboards. We're going to try to cram bar charts and line charts and scatter plots and everything all together, and it's going to blur into one big ugly mess. Even if we have low data ink ratio and kill the chart junk, there's just going to be too much going on. So what some people decide that they want to do is they want to put thick black boxes around everything on there. Here's one chart, here's one chart, here's one chart. Then all the lines going in between the charts just blow stuff up too. It's like there's a line here and a chart here and a line here. So a really, really basic example. And again, you're going to get used or tired of hearing that basic examples, but tables. So I don't know if anyone has ever worked with like a finance bureau in Excel, but they hate grid lines. The first thing they do anytime they open up Excel is get rid of grid lines. This is actually the very first class I ever took I used in this example. You have your grid lines, you have your A, B, you have your row numbers to the side there. You don't need the lines in between each one. You have the white space, right? That's what the 1 + 1 = 3 is if this is one thing and this is one thing. Sorry for people online, I'm pointing. If John is one thing and Ryan is one thing, you can use the white space in the middle, even though that's nothing, as another thing. So 1 + 1 = there's actually 3 things here because you're using white space. Another example that I think is not necessarily complicated, but shows my point a little bit better. Like I said, you have a chart here. Sometimes you want to put big, ugly black boxes around it. Again, we already have lines going up and down all over the place. We don't need to separate those out. We can clearly see that the chart begins and ends at the axes. Everything in between that is part of the chart. We can get rid of that and remove some data ink, use some white space, and have it a little bit cleaner. Again, especially once you're putting 3 or 4 or 5 of these next to each other all at once. Any questions on 1 + 1, white space, chart junk?
Will you go back, please, to the 1 + 1?
What were you saying about the first name and the last?
Which, one second, what slide?
The one previous to the,
This one?
yes.
Yeah.
What were you saying about the first name and the last name section?
Oh, just that the you don't necessarily need a line dividing the two, right?
I see.
Because we can use our white space in between the two. Again, once we start building charts in Tableau, hopefully this makes a bit more sense.
You got all the things I like.
Okay, we are going to start building now. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come over and help you get this downloaded. So we'll take our normal 10-minute break just a little bit early tonight. When we come back, so you guys can kind of start to see the point, we are going to take and build this dashboard on the left and turn it into the dashboard on the right. So believe it or not, this is actually the same exact charts, the same exact data, the same exact filters, dimensions, and measures. The only thing that we're doing is cleaning up chart junk, white space, and using some data ink ratio principles and turn it into that. And then believe that, but this is actually the chart on the right is going to be a section of your final. So I mentioned on night 8, no class, we'll come here at no lesson. We just sit down, we build our final project. You can essentially already learn how to build one section of your final project on night 2, which is awesome. So let's be back here. It's 6:40 right now. Let's plan on coming back at 6:50.
So my laptop is being announced, personally,
Oh, if she said she did, this would be the one.
I know. She said there's possibly be used, and you don't have like a plug.
Oh, maybe not. Oh, here's one. I want. Not sure how it will reach, but if you come up here, you might get it. Gosh, yeah, there are not very many outlets in this room, huh? Let me go grab a LaCroix real quick. Do you guys want anything? Pop, soda, Sprite, water? Sprite?
She said that I would have issues with my laptop. She was gonna have an extra one. And there's no power.
You see if this power cord works over there? I had problems with the laptop last night, so I put it in. You want to see if this works?
So it looks like mine is.
Oh, okay.
From the appreciate that. There's no cord with this one, but there's no power button. So that's a big puzzle. Let's see what this does.
That's not the problem. Okay, great. Well, thank you for letting me know. All right, bye-bye. The at-home in Council Bluffs is closing in 8 days. Really?
Really?
Yes, so.
At home's gonna run for a while. I mean, there's no cord to that, and I don't see a power button.
Oh, okay. So that one works? That's yours?
Yeah, this is mine.
Oh,
so
sweet, okay.
You said I had it down.
Yeah. Oh, I hate it. Yeah, no problem. And then you'll want to go out to, see if I can find it.
It's still an hour going to see me.
Oh, gotcha.
It's hourglass, but I am connected
Okay.
to the Wi-Fi.
Perfect.
And where do you want me to go?
You'll go to, I actually just wrote it down for you. Tableau.com. Products.
Into Google.
Yep, Google Chrome works fine. And then when you get that open, it will just look like this. All you have to do is just fill out first name, last name, email, and then hit download the app.
Is there a certain email?
Whatever you use, your personal one is
Okay.
fine or whatever.
I wanted to ask because it took coding for some reason. It wouldn't take mine down.
Oh, really? No, it should be fine.
Slack wouldn't.
Stupid Slack. And then just let me know when you get that downloaded. Oh, I can pull that up.
It's requesting roll in country.
Yeah, you just. Whatever you want in there. Yes. It'll go quicker than that. It'll catch up. I'm gonna go ahead and get going. I'll show how to do the first section, and then that should be done. And I'll come back over and help catch up real quick. Yeah. All right. So, like I said, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull those out so we don't have to keep reaching them back and forth. You're good. So easy. Right over here by the snacks. Okay. So for the first, call it 20 minutes or so, we are going to build this ugly monstrosity. Just stick with me. It's going to be ugly. We're going to violate everything that we just talked about, but that's the point. We'll build it. We'll learn how to build it. Then we'll actually toss. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different charts here. We'll actually show you how to toss them into a dashboard. Maybe we'll take a quick break, maybe not, depending on how long it takes. And then we will essentially close out, scrap them all, and then build this beautiful little low data ink, good white space, super pretty chart. So, like we will start all of our hands-on sections, everyone open up Tableau Public. And Tammy, just let me know when that's done downloading, I'll pop over.
It says 2 months.
Perfect. All right, this should be what it looks like. Just like on Monday, we're gonna click Microsoft Excel. There's our handy dandy do not lose Superstore data. We're gonna open that up. And again, just for tonight, we're just gonna be using orders. Although if you have a question on joining stuff, Mary, we can cover up how to join some stuff up after class. But for tonight, just drag over orders. And then go ahead and click sheet 1. I'll give everyone just a couple moments to make sure we all get to the same spot here before we actually start building stuff out.
So what do we do with orders? Like what do we do there?
Just drag it. Just drag it. Yep. All it takes. And then you can
I'm gonna guess like anytime you do something, drag it.
Yeah, they need to set the sheet 1, and that moves us over to where we set the side. Yeah, Tableau, that's a great point. Anytime you guess how to do something, dragging it is always a good guess. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna make, gosh, I wish I had a monitor here. We're gonna make 3 versions of kind of the same thing. We are going to look at sales over time, so sales by our order date. And it looks like we have a filter for furniture, sales by our order date, a filter for technology, and sales by our order date, a filter for office supplies.
I am so sorry. I clearly did not save that last link. Where was the last link from? That said do not delete?
Oh, I named mine that. Yours would probably just be called Superstore data or something.
Okay.
It would probably be in your downloads.
Yes.
Unless that was the one I was saying, if you want to move it to your desktop or set different folder or something. So I'm not sure where you saved it.
Superstore.
Yep.
Shoo. Thank you.
Yep. Did you find it? I hope so. Okay. And if anyone ever loses that link, again, I joked and called it do not delete because people always lose it. It's part of the gig. But if you ever need to get it again, remember you can just go to Tableau. Gosh, this is hard. Tableau Public. And then it's under Learn.
Can I ask you to do something?
Yeah.
So, because I don't, like, this is my second time taking things, and I have a problem seeing the board. Do you mind, like, like putting the PowerPoint before class. So if I can't see it, I can look at the PowerPoint.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, freak out if we turn the lights off.
No, I believe that would help.
That's what we had to do downstairs with the projector. Yeah. I asked if you guys would freak out, like, for a bunch of kids in the morning.
Could you do it anyway? Because then I could look at it up close and everything.
Yeah,
The little details, because there's a lot of little details there.
I will send this for sure,
Before class, I appreciate it.
but the one, yeah. I won't reference it again for the rest of this class though. We're just, the rest of tonight, I'll just be in Tableau. So you won't need it for the rest of this class. But moving forward, I'll send it to the full class, so you guys can use it. But if you ever need to get that Superstore data again, it's just Tableau Public, and then it's this very first data set here. But you guys should all have it. Okay. So we are going to start by dragging over our order date, right? We want to show sales by our order date. So we're going to drag order date to our columns. Right, we have 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017.
Sorry, but the screen is still on the sample data.
Oh, okay. Thank you for calling that out. All right, so all you need to do is just drag order date onto your columns. And then we're going to drag our sales onto our rows. Ta-da! Good sales up and to the right. Now, when it comes to dates, you can see by default, it's going to be grouping by year. Sometimes we may want to group by month or week or day or quarter or whatever. If you ever want to change this, all you have to do is click this little drop-down arrow. And you can see that it has year, quarter, month, day. Now don't get confused because it has it two different times, year, quarter, month, week, day. The difference between these two, the top ones, you can see it shows a little example, 2015, Q2, May, 8. This top section is literally only taking that date part. So all you can see we have 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. If we were to choose month, it would group all the Mays together from every year, right? I can show you that. We just have one January, one February, one March, right? And inside here is 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. It's just grouping the months. If you want the month and the year, or the quarter and the year, or the week number and the year, if you want that more detail, that's when this bottom section is important. So I always just look at the examples. Do I want just the month or do I want the month and the year? For this example, let's choose the month of the year. Now we can see every point on here is a month going from 2014 through 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Does everyone have this so far? If not, please raise your hand because we're going to do this like 8 more times. So yeah, totally fine. Okay, you're good. This is in here and here. Oh, you're yeah. So then all you have to do is just drag orders over. I got that. And now sheet 1. Oh, here it is up in here. Oh, we're ahead of the game. Let's see what's actually, you know what we should be doing. So all I was saying is if you ever want to change it from just the year to the month and the year, just click here. And then let's actually change this. So fine. And while you're going to get some nice dots on your team. Okay. Yes.
Oh.
Should be good.
I'm gonna install.
Let's check over. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Got it there.
Yeah, except my labels are different than yours.
Oh, that's fine. You just have more room.
Oh,
Mine's, I have it kind of zoomed in so everyone can see. But if I were to make more room or go like full screen, it would look like that. Okay, everyone remote, do you guys have what I have on my screen right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. I will always take silence as yes, so if you don't, just shout. Okay, like I said, we're gonna do this 3 times. I'm gonna show you how to do it the first 2, and then I'll let you do the 3rd one on your own. So the last thing that we need to add to this is we're gonna filter by category. So let's go over to our category, drag it onto filters, and then let's just choose the top one, furniture, and click OK.
Why not apply?
Either one. Apply will just leave the dialog box open and you'll have to click OK to get out of it.
So there's like 7 or 8 of these up and I'm deleting it now.
Okay. You know what's funny is I was actually helping her download earlier too. And I kept clicking download and I didn't think it was going. And then we had like 6 boxes pop up there. Close out them too. So yeah, I think that's probably a good call.
okay, my name Charlie is you need to learn patience.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying.
Box is not there. That box.
Do you mind if we close out this one? Because you also have a few different data sources in there. Let's see this one. Yep. There it goes. So this, yeah, you will just like so that do that. All right, so then we just need the order here. Then all I did was right here. This is where you were at. Yep. All right. Now we're going to do one more together. So to start a new sheet, remember you just go right here and click this little plus button, new worksheet. And again, it's order date onto our columns. Let's change it to the month and year. And then sales to our rows. And now we're going to filter it. So we're going to go to category, onto our filters, and instead of furniture, let's choose office supplies and click OK. All right, if you have this, start a new sheet and try to do it exactly the same again on your own, except instead of office supplies, choose whatever the next one down is, technology. Raise your hand if you have questions.
I had to start all over and delete all of them out.
Okay, well, we got that part done. Okay, now we're cooking with steam. And don't worry, we'll fix it out. Here.
Office supply.
Yep. Yep. People that are remote, do you guys just want to give me a shout when you have all three? Just so I can keep a good gauge on who's working and who's wrapped up.
Got him.
Okay,
All done.
Yeah, all done.
perfect. All right. There we go, Celeste. Oh, you're one step ahead of me. Yeah. Perfect. Furniture. Yep. Yep. And we're gonna do the same exact thing. Oh, this time will be technology. So the next thing we're gonna do, if you just right click on your sheet names, you can rename them. So you can go through and rename, sales by whatever you want to call them. We'll rename them later. Colors there. If you guys have all three done, notice right now at the top, your title is sheet 2. By default, your title is always just going to be whatever your sheet is named. So sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. To rename those, all you have to do is right click and click rename. So I'd maybe call this like, what is this filtered by furniture? Furniture sales over time, something like that. Our next one will be office supply sales over time. Technology sales over time. Whoops, I need to make this one real quick. Okay, if you guys aren't quite here yet, that's okay, because again, these are just the bad examples that we're making to start. We'll get rid of them anyways. But let's move on to the next chart. Let's do this bar chart. So this is going to be sales by region. And then it looks like our colors is by category. So we're gonna go back, whoops, that's the wrong Tableau button. Give me 1 second. I open up the right one. We're gonna start a new worksheet. And now in columns, instead of order date, we are going to do region. So we'll have our central, east, south, and west. We're going to use sales again. Here's a little fast tip for you. If you ever get tired of dragging, you can actually double click and it'll just automatically, oh, bad example, it put it here. Most times it knows where to put it. It'll automatically toss it up there, but it didn't. So the sales on rows. And then remember from night 1, if we want multiple dimensions, we can either toss it up again here, sales or rows, or we can toss category on color. And now we have central, east, south, and west, total sales by each region, which is the total height of the bar. And then each little bar in here is different categories. Slow and steady. Yeah, it didn't work. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, there you go.
I know, I'm gonna be. Every class I will do something.
Yeah. Oh, so you can hold that down
Okay.
and then you're at it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What do we not like about this chart?
Hard to read.
What do you mean by that?
It's like, what numbers are those colors?
What numbers? Yep. Especially stacked like this. Like it looks like the oranges are all kind of the same size, but since the reds are so much different, the oranges are starting at different spots, so you can't really tell which orange is higher. It's impossible to tell. Like you can kind of tell from the top, the total categories. This is around 500. This is over 600. This is over 600. But to figure out how big the orange is, for instance, you'd have to do like a little under 400 minus a little under 200.
Represent?
Yeah, we got the category over there, but there's probably a better way to do it. I hate stacked bars. I think they're worthless. They're slim use cases for them. But for the most part, always a better way of doing that. But let's build our last chart and then we'll come back and make all these look pretty. So let's go ahead and rename this one something like top categories by region. I don't know. All right, now the very last one we're gonna make is this scatter plot. So this is gonna be looking at sales along the x-axis, profit along the y-axis, and then each state is gonna be a dot. So let's go ahead and build that. We'll start by starting a new sheet, as always. Now this is actually the first time we've put 2 measures on our columns and our rows. So if you'll notice when we do that to start with, it doesn't really matter which one you put where. There's just going to be one dot on here. Now there's only one dot because we have no dimensions. We're not grouping by anything. We're not filtering by anything. So this is literally our entire data set, summing up every single row. And the sum of all the sales is over 300K, right? So it's plotting it over here at 300K. And the sum of all the profit is also about 300K. Sorry, that's 3 million K in sales, 300K in profit, and plotting here. So we just have one data point. That's our whole data. There's no blue pills, there's no dimensions to filter or group by. However, when we drag state onto the color, it's going to give you a warning and say, hey, there's 51. Are you sure you want to add it all? It's going to look really ugly. Yes, we're sure. What do you say?
I said we like ugly.
Yeah, exactly. We're on the ugly section of our lesson. Stick with us. Now it's actually grouping by our dimension, which is state. So now each state is summing up all the sales on the profit and putting an individual dot. So California has 400K in sales, 76K in profit. That's why it's here. So for the most part, you would expect more sales equals more profit. But there's some states where something weird's going on. Texas, the more sales we have, the less amount of profit. So that's an unprofitable state. So obviously, if we were doing EDA, we'd want to dive into that. Maybe we're discounting really high. Maybe we have some really, really low margin. I think night one, we looked at it and like binders were really low margin or something. Maybe we're slinging a lot of binders in Texas. I don't know, but that jumps off the page. But what do we hate about this chart? No idea what's going on. Unless you're gonna hover, yeah, you can kind of see the outliers. If you hover over it, you can kind of tell, but you have 40 other states that are all grouped right here, all kind of the same. There's no shot, like we can hover, but if we were to put this up on a TV and just said, look, no one's gonna be able to be like, okay, Alabama's a dark blue. Is this actually Alabama? That'd be crazy. Nope, Michigan. So yeah, really bad. Okay, that is our last ugly chart. So let's rename this one. And let's call this sales versus profits or something like that. All right, I'm gonna give you guys just a quick like 30-second overview on how to build dashboards. And then I'm gonna give you 5 to 10 minutes to kind of play around with it and at least make the ugly things look nice. By default, in a dashboard here, see how this section is white and this section is gray? The white section is what we're working with. It defaults to a minimum size. The reason it does that is if you could build something really small, then it will work on a laptop, it'll work on a TV, it'll work on a projector, anything like that. However, it's not our only option, right? So I could change it from a range to a fixed size. I can change this. They have generic desktops that look like that. They have desktop browsers that are a little bit bigger than that even. They have full screen. They have tons of different things. What I like to do is change this to automatic, and it's just always gonna fit the screen that you're working with. So it'll be really big on my TV. When I publish it to Tableau Public, it will adjust to the size of my laptop. If I were to share that laptop on a projector that's 100 feet wide, it would adjust to the size of that. I like to build in automatic because it just always gives you the most bang for your buck. However, it is something to be cognizant of if you're going to jam pack a lot of things in there. It might look, I guess we're all working off of laptops, so we're kind of already looking at the smallest. If you're building on a big monitor, you may want to be cognizant and maybe choose like, hey, most people are going to be looking at this on their laptop, so let's choose a fixed size and let's do laptop browser, because that's going to work for anybody that opens it up. But since we're already kind of building on as small as we'll ever view it, I'm okay with automatic. Does that make sense how you can kind of adjust those? It's not something that you have to do every time, but I just hate how it defaults to something so small.
So does that mean that's how it's displayed as well when you publish it?
Yep.
If you have
exactly.
automatic.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So the basics, it takes a little getting used to, I will admit. When you drag it, it will highlight gray where the sheet's going to go. So the first sheet that you drop on there obviously takes up the full thing. But look, when I go to drag a second one over there, if I hover to the left, it'll say, oh, okay, I'm going to put it right beside that one. If I drag it over the top, it will turn gray and it'll put it right there, right? If I drag it to the right of it, it'll turn gray. So you kind of always have to take a second to drag it kind of where you think it's going to be. Now I have two things on here. I can go to the left of this one. I can go on top of this one. I can go right in the middle of it too. I can go to the right of this one. I could go to the left of this one. I could go to the top of this one. I could go to the top of both of them if I hold it up here. Right. Sorry, this is really hard. Right there. I think in my example, I actually put them all vertical. So anytime you want to move them, you just click on them, grab this little gray box, drag it where you want to go, something like that. So I think the ugly layout I had in my example was something like this. But then once they're there, you can always drag the lines in between to make more room. Again, we're making really ugly stuff, so it's not gonna fit all the way, but that's okay. I think I'm like super zoomed in on mine. I don't know how to fix that.
Hello.
Yeah.
So when I drag all three, one of them is bigger than the other two.
Yep. So if you hover like in between the lines, you should be able to drag it up or down. I apologize, when I go back and forth between my monitors, it zooms me way in on this one. So you guys should be able to see yours a little better than I'm seeing mine, but you can drag stuff in between.
Oh, I see.
Now, there is an easier way to do this. There are these things called containers. You can pull in a horizontal container, a vertical container, and it will line everything up really nice for you automatically. We'll get to that at a later date. The goal of today is not dashboard design. I'm just kind of showing you how to drag the basics of it so you can at least start messing around with it on your own. We live? Okay, so we're gonna do one more. Go. So now, you'll always start by opening it up, clicking Microsoft Excel. That's okay. The good news is you're going to be just in time to make the pretty versions of all these. So. that was just bringing the data out there. So, hello. There you go.
I'm gonna get it down here, but I don't know where.
Yeah, that's okay. Perfect. So now we're always just going to work. These are 3 different tabs in the Excel. We're just always going to work with the ordered one. So let's drag that over. And then it'll pop up. You'll be able to see your data down here. And then as soon as you click on the sheet 1, that's where you can start designing stuff. So the data source is just going to be the data that you're bringing in and out. The individual sheets are where you'll actually put stuff. Perfect timing. Okay. So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time going through everything that's wrong with this dashboard. Obviously, this is not anything that we would ever put in front of anyone. So let's talk through how we can make it better. So now we're going to make this. So at the top, we're going to have our sales over time. We filtered down, it looks like, to just 2020 because there was too much data to show going back 6 years or whatever that was. And we actually put multiple lines on one chart to see how they could compete with each other as opposed to 3 individual charts. So that already saved us 66% of our space that we're using. Down below here, instead of the stacked bars, we put them side by side, still grouped by central, east, south, and west. But now we have them side by side so you can compare them. Got rid of the axes and just put the label right there. And then what we decided to do on the sales versus profit is just label the outliers so we can show the problem children, right? California is really good, Pennsylvania is really bad. A lot of this, and we'll talk through it in a bit, is you're not always going to be able to show everything all on one dashboard. You want to do your exploratory data analysis, understand what are the key points that I want to show. I don't need to show all 50 states. I don't need to show 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I don't need to show which category is relative. Like, what am I trying to show? I've done the exploratory data analysis between me and the data. Now this is the conversation between the data and the audience. What do I want to show? So you make some selective choices based on the things that are standing the most out to you. Maybe you need to build multiple dashboards. Maybe you do want something for every single year. Great. I can't see them all on one, so I'll build 4. Maybe I add a filter. The other interesting thing that we did here, and again, I built this for the first time like 4 years ago, so maybe my opinions on how it should be built have changed a little. But I actually used my color instead of labels, and I have one key at the very top, furniture, office supplies, technology, that apply to both of my charts here. Because if I would have had to do labels, I would have had to labels these and these, so I would have had to do 2 sets of labels. Here I just have 1 set of label, so there's continuity between my different charts. I would actually probably color this something different because the way it looks now makes it look like it's furniture where it's not, it's actually everything. But whatever, we'll build it together. We can make some creative choices on our own and we can improve on what I built 4 years ago. So feel free to keep working out of the same Tableau. No need to close out and restart. A fun little organizational trick. I'm very analytical, left-brained. So I like to organize stuff. If you right-click on your different tabs, there's a little color. I'm going to color these red for bad. I'm going to go through all of them, go color red. Now when I have, right, because we're going to build 3 more sheets and another dashboard. Now as I'm going through the 12 different tabs down here, I can really quickly see what are the good ones and what are the bad ones without having to clicking into them. But again, this is just a personal preference, not something they just necessarily need to do every time. I just find it handy to keep track of things. Okay, this is where you'll jump in for the first time here. Good to go?
No.
Oh,
Okay, so, I know they don't.
oh, that's good. Don't worry about rebuilding the ugly ones.
Oh,
We're just gonna start fresh with the pretty
so
ones.
just do sheet 1. and-
Yep, totally fine. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna make is our kind of multi-line chart. So just like before, we're gonna start with order date in the columns. We're gonna start with sales in the rows. All right, by default it's grouped by year. So we're gonna click that little arrow and change that back to the month.
I don't see where you got order date. Oh, yes, I do.
No, totally fine.
But it won't let me drag it. Okay. Okay, here we go.
And then you'll drag your sales to the rows.
Will you please look at this because it's totally different.
Okay. We're close. Oh, you're actually close to being set ahead. So the next thing we're gonna do is one set ahead. Drag that there. But we just need to click this arrow on the order date and change it to our month. So I remember this year, quarter, month. These are grouping everything. Year, quarter, month. These have additional details. So we'll always use the same. Now, 1 second. Mine will look like that in a second.
Are we building a sheet 6?
Yeah, probably. All right, so then the last thing we need to do, well, not the last thing. I have a really bad habit of saying that. We have many more things to do. The next thing we're gonna do is drag category onto our color. So that gives us this really ugly chart. And that's why I made the decision of maybe we just focus on, it looks like I was actually working off of a different Superstore data set last time I did this. Because the latest, do you guys have anything after 2017 or is yours all 2017 too?
2017 is the latest.
Interesting. I wonder if they updated the data set. Anyways, this isn't telling anyone anything, right? So let's zoom in a little bit and just focus on the latest year. So let's go ahead and drag order date to our filters. Choose years. And then choose 2017. Now, how can I start improving my data ink ratio? Let's start there.
With the background lines.
Background lines. So in order to do that, first of all, let me pause. Is everyone where we're at right here?
No, mine looks, oh, month of order date. Okay, sorry. I have year of order date.
Oh, yep. Let's click that
So
right
how do
here.
I go back? No, on the filter,
Yep.
I've got year order date. And when I double click on it, how do I go back to the the first window that showed me. Oops. Wait, maybe I got it. You select all.
I just select 2017.
All right, user error here.
Ha, you're good.
Can you go back one step and just show me how you got the year?
Yep. That is actually, so I'll drag this off. Remember,
Yes,
anytime you want to
thank
get
you.
rid of anything, just drag it
Yeah.
off. If you drag it on there, it should actually default to year. Oh, no, it doesn't. I clicked year right here.
Okay.
And then next,
2017. That's what I did. Mine just looked different than yours, but maybe it's the scale. Let me try that again.
gosh, this is awful.
Order date, the month at the top.
Yep.
How did you get to the year thing?
Just,
Oh, year, okay, the filter.
Yep. All right. To get rid of our grid lines, all we have to do is right click anywhere in here and choose format. And there are a million different format options. Feel free in your free time to click through all of these. You can edit the font. You can edit the alignment. You can edit the shading in here. You can edit the, what's this, borders. For this class, for the most part, all we'll ever do is just get rid of the grid lines, which is always going to be this far right one. You'll be able to remember it because there's 3 lines here. And just choose grid lines and hit none. So again, that's right clicking anywhere in here, clicking format, a million different options. Don't worry about them all. Go to the far right where there's lines, grid lines. It says none, but it's not really none. Click none. And you should notice them go away. Yeah, isn't that weird? What's funny is, let me go to a different one. Oh, that's a bad example. If you go, you can actually choose the difference between the row grid lines and the column grid lines. So there are actually none for the column, but there are some for the row. But for some reason, for the full sheet, it says none, even though when you click it and change it to none. I don't know. It's something that's always bothered me. Okay. What about this, if we think back to our penguin example? I said we can always get away with removing the label axis with a good title. What would be a good title for this sheet that would allow us to remove some additional stuff on here?
17 sales by month.
2017 sales by month.
All categories.
I was going to say we have, whoops, 2017 sales by, it's always, how do I want to put this? There's some implied knowledge when you read things. Like when I see January, February, March, April, May, June, July, I kind of know those are months, so we probably don't have to double click on that. But I don't necessarily know that furniture, office supplies, technology are my categories unless I had this key here, which we know we want to get away from. So I think 2017 sales by category.
To rename.
Yeah, to rename, you just right click down here, click rename. Now I think there's just 2 last things that we can do until this will be perfect. In order, now that we have sales in the title, we know that we're showing sales, we don't need it here. If you ever want to change these axis labels, all you have to do is double click. And down here it says axis titles, right? It says sales. I could change this to be anything. Charlie is awesome. Right, and it would update. But for this, since we have it in our title, I think we are good with saying nothing.
How did you get there?
Yep, just double click on the axis. Like I said, tonight's going to be a lot of repetition, learning the button clicking of Tableau, but there won't really be any new Tableau functionality we'll need to learn after tonight. We'll just kind of do the same things. We'll drag stuff, we'll move the grid lines, we'll double click into the axis. We'll spend the rest of the semester actually building our stuff, and we'll do that same stuff over and over again. So I promise you'll get tired of doing it by the end, and you'll be able to do it with your eyes closed.
And the category, if you want those in colors, and you need to drag them.
Yep. Yeah, you're done. Here we go.
I have to see yours.
Oh, yeah, this is actually, this is like, get rid of it. Yep. Gosh, this owl is actually kind of spooky in the dark. I've never noticed the eyes before. Watching us. Hoo-hoo.
Take the title off on.
Yep. So this one, you actually left click and hit show header. Whoops, 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 whoops. No, you don't.
Yes.
It's a double click. My bad. My apologies. So just like the other one, double click, get rid of it. Hit X.
So when I go.
I did anything.
I got you. We're good. It's 9-2.
What on the test thing?
Oh, yeah. That's good. Get rid of
Okay.
that. Good to go. And then you just X out of the line.
Okay, so I'm not gonna look for it. Okay. I was in there. That was it. But I don't know why it's in there.
So when I double click, is it left double or right?
Oh, yeah, you're good. Just clear it up.
How did you get rid of the 2017s from every single one of them?
Oh, so mine actually has that, believe it or not. Tableau is pretty good actually at getting like fitting size. Oh, wait. Don't have it. That's weird. Maybe it's still too small. I think mine just, my formatting is super weird because it's formatted to my laptop and I drag it over the TV.
So we all have this, we all have that, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, do you guys have the years? Yeah. That's weird that mine's, I'll look into that. After class, we can dive into that a bit more. All right,
Shirley,
everyone.
Sorry, I just have a quick question. Can you tell me again how to go to the screen that showed me the size, whether I wanted to view it from a laptop or a browser or whatever all those options were?
Oh yeah, that's in our, when we'll start making our dashboard.
Oh, oh yeah,
Not
okay.
quite there yet.
Because mine looks slightly different than yours, but maybe that's why.
Yeah, I need to figure out what's going on. This HDMI makes everything really big on the TV. That's why mine looks so weird.
I do have a quick question for you. Should we be auto saving as we go? I lost everything and then I had to rebuild it. So I have two questions. Should we auto save? Does it auto save? Because I couldn't recover it. So I'm the type of person I just save constantly.
I actually don't know if Tableau Public does. Tableau Desktop does autosave. But yeah, it's not a bad habit to get into. I can't tell you how many times I've worked on something for like 5 hours and I look up and see that it's still called book 1 and I'm like, oh no, I need to save quick. Yeah, it's a good habit to get into to save. Oh, super annoying. Sounds like it was some good practice for you, though. You got to do everything twice.
Yeah. So then can you rearrange the tabs at the bottom too? Because like some of my tabs ended up being out of order.
Yeah, you can. Let me call this ODSA fall 2025. Whoops. To drag the tabs, give me 1 second while this pops up. Okay, get rid of that. Yeah, you should just be able to drag the tabs left to right, or right to left, however you want to do it. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, 1 pretty chart done, 2 to go. Next, we are going to make this bar chart here instead of our stack bar. So we're going to have regions, we're going to have categories, and then labels are going to be sales. So we're going to start a new sheet. We're going to drag our region to our columns. We're going to drag our category to the right of region, also on our columns. And then we're going to drag our sales to our rows. So I think this is always a good, the first time we build this is like our first 2-dimensional chart that we built. And this is always kind of an aha or like a finger snap moment of why they're called dimensions, right? Dimensions are things that you can split by. This is 2 dimensions because we're splitting by region, then we're splitting again by category, right? So we have our central right here. Inside we have furniture, office supplies, technology. East, furniture, office supply, technology. Comparing to the one we made earlier, right? We're able to compare what these categories are across our different regions a lot better because we're able to see, okay, in Central, technology is #1. Technology is actually #1 everywhere except for West. We can see across all, West is a lot higher than East, than Central, than South, right? It's just a little bit easier. So again, what would be a good name so that we can get rid of some labels?
So if we're looking at the total sales for each of these.
I like sales for sure. Maybe category sales by region.
I was gonna say total sales by region.
Okay, I like that. All right, so now we can get rid of our sales, right? We already know how to do that. Double click, X out, close out of that. Now this is the one I knew there was one where you right click to get rid of it. When it's at the top, you can't actually, oh, another quick tip for you. If you guys are a fan of hotkeys, Control Z does actually undo whatever the last thing that you did. If you don't like Control Z, there's a back button right here. It's actually amazing. You can go back like 100 things. And then if you're like, wait, I went back too far, you can redo it back up to your most recent thing. So the undo redo functionality in Tableau is great if you ever mess up. But to get rid of this, we do actually have to right click and hit hide field labels, since it's not actually labeling an axis. To get rid of that top part. Oh yeah, just this back arrow.
Okay, can you repeat that one? How did you do that one?
To get rid of it, I just right clicked on it
Okay.
and hit hide field labels for colors.
Okay.
All right, last thing we're gonna do, and then we're gonna drag them both on the dashboard and start playing around with them kind of together. Let's go ahead and get rid of these ugly grid lines one last time. So that's a right click format. Over to the lines. Grid lines, none is not actually none. Click none, and those go away. Okay, I know we still need to make our scatter plot pretty, but I do want to take a quick pause and drag these both into a dashboard, because if you remember, the next thing I did was colored these, and I want to show the kind of the before and after difference and why I decided to do that. So we'll start a new dashboard. Remember, that's the middle button here. I'm going to change mine from arrange to automatic. And then let's bring in, we have a whole bunch of stuff now. They're in the same order that they are across the bottom. So our 2017 sales by category, and our category sales by region across the bottom here. Yep. Are you on a dashboard? Oh, okay. It's the second button right here. It's just one to the right of the new worksheet. Good. And then, oh yeah. And then, here, we're going to change that. More range. Now you should be able to just drag your 2017 cells, and then you can see when you try to drag it, that's 3 notes in the plan. And then drag this one, don't let go of it yet, just drag it over here. See when it turns gray, that's letting you know where it drops, drag it towards the bottom. All right. So here, both of these charts by themselves aren't bad at all, right? This one, I only have my labels one spot. So over here, blue, orange, red, I can reference those. But down here, I have furniture, office supplies, technology, furniture, office supplies, technology, furniture, office supplies, technology, furniture, office supplies, technology. Up here again, furniture, office supplies, technology. So if I make these both the same color, then not only can I get away with only having one of these, and it works for both charts, but I can also get away with removing all of those labels across the bottom too, which is going to save us up a ton of space and a ton of data ink. So if we go back to our category sales by region, the really nice thing about Tableau is it remembers what colors you used for any dimension, and it'll keep those consistent on every single sheet. So it's not going to be random each time, or you're not going to have to go and make sure that they match up. It is already set. Furniture for blue, office supplies for orange, technology for red. So if I go to category sales by region and drag category onto my color, it will set furniture blue, office supplies orange, technology red. If I change it in one of these, remember you can change your colors by actually clicking on this and hitting edit colors. Say I want green for money. If I hit OK there, it not only changes it on this chart, but it changes it on this chart as well too. So we'll always keep those synced up, which is really nice. So now in my dashboard, I can use one single key to reference both of these. And now I can get rid of my labels. So to get rid of those, you just right click and uncheck that show header.
Do the color category.
If you want to change it. Oh, you just have to drag category on the color. Yep. And then if you ever wanted to change these colors, you click on that little color box. Hit edit colors. You can click on any of these and choose what color you want to change it to. So like I click technology. So I gotta take which one you want first, and then choose like it.
I have done some things here. How did I get in? How did
Oh, very good. Just whenever you click on one, it highlights it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if we go to you just have to click on what you want to change first, and then what you want to change. Okay. And if any of you are super artsy and don't like boring colors, there are way more than just boring colors. By default, it gives you this automatic color palette. But if you click into this, you can see it has 10 standard colors, 20 standard colors. If you want to make it more accessible, there's colorblind colors that you can use. Some jewel bright colors, and then like full spectrums of colors as well too. So feel free to go crazy on your homework. Ooh, winter maybe would be a good one. If you click into color, that color box like we did before.
Okay.
And then in the top right, you can select your color palette. Okay, let's crank out the scatter plot real quick. We'll take a break. And then your homework is just going to be using your own data set. Try to build some pretty charts as opposed to ugly charts. Okay, so the very last thing that we're going to do is update our sales versus profits. So again, we're going to start a new sheet. We're going to drag sales up to our columns, profit to our rows, and then state to our colors.
I did something that I lost, I lost, like, my whole thing that we're just working on. Is that, like, I just, like, I clicked something and I can't find where.
Is one of
And I
these,
saved it, but
yeah, it looks like you got one saved. Right. You just click on that class group 2 presentation 917. Nice. That's maybe a good reminder all of us to maybe click save once again.
For some reason, I don't have.
Okay, this is one where no matter what we rename it, if we called it sales versus profit or anything like that, I don't think we can get away with getting rid of the labels, because we're not gonna just inherently know which axis is profit, which one is sales. So this is one where we're gonna kind of have to bite the bullet and have a little multiple data inc. So let's call it sales versus profit. And then maybe like by state. Now, I actually don't think, again, if we're kind of playing make-believe, right, and finding use cases for what we're trying to show. If we were trying to show every single one of our states and our sales versus profit and actually wanted the detail there, this obviously wouldn't be the right chart type. In fact, for something with that many rows, we'd probably just want like a simple table. Otherwise, we're gonna have 50 bars or 50 lines or anything like that. But let's say that we're trying to make a point to our exec team that we need to invest more heavily in California, New York, Washington, and should maybe pull some sales reps out of Texas or something. So we're just trying to show the outliers. If we drag state onto labels, by default, I think someone asked about this last week. There's this little button that says allow labels to overlap other marks. If you check that, it will actually label all of them. But by default, it's just going to label the outliers, the ones where it actually has room to label it. And for the sake of this example, that's good enough.
So did you go pick up state again?
Yep. Grab it a second time and drag it onto labels.
Because I didn't create that. It's not good to me.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sitting up there plugging my ears and I get all this.
Oh, you're good. Just drag sales onto your columns. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and then, but instead of category on your color, you'll want state. So I think you'll have to drag that one off.
The state on.
Yeah, so you got it there. And then grab, yeah, not grab category and drag that off. Yep, there you go. And now you can grab the state color. But you have sales on it twice, more profit. Just drag that off. And then keep that one. And then drag the profit out to columns. There you go. Okay. For our dimensions here, now that we've labeled the ones that we care about, we don't really care about the color anymore. So we've grouped by color, right? We've seen if we drag it onto color, it groups them for us. That's our dimension that we're grouping by. But we don't have to group by color. If we drag this state here, the one on color, instead onto detail, now remember detail's like in the background, but it still is going to aggregate stuff for us. So now it kind of keeps everything the same color, and just obviously we're labeling our outliers there. So you can group by color, or if you want to get away with not changing the color of everything, you can just hide it in the detail and it'll still group everything by it. Yeah, I was gonna say, in fact, you don't even need it in the detail. If you just drag it off completely and just group it by the label,
Charlie,
that'll work too.
Can you define what the box that says filters means?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we wanted to filter the data on our chart, we can use any of our dimensions to filter by it. So if we only wanted to show, like when we were making our line charts, if we only wanted to show office supplies, we could filter to just office supplies. Okay. For now, this is good. There are some other ways that we could make this even better in future lessons. For example, maybe we want to color just the ones that we're showing to make them stand out a little more. Maybe we want to label different ones. Maybe we don't want to show the outliers. Maybe we want to show how average Arkansas is, or maybe I'm presenting our, we can get into some of that. So we'll continue to build off of this. If you guys are feeling a little unsatisfied with how this looks, don't worry. We have 6 more nights of classes that will keep getting better and better and better at this. Okay, last thing, this might just be a me format. Yeah, your guys will look better than mine. The formatting on mine is kind of weird. If you ever want to take advantage of all the space, you can force it to fit inside here. That'll fit the height, fit the width, height, or in mine, I'm going to do entire view. But if your guys' look fine, don't worry about that. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure I pull my StreamYard back up. Okay. Now let's go back to our second dashboard we made and add in our scatter plot. So again, it should be the sales by profit, sales versus profit by state. And we're going to want to put it just to the right of our bar chart. So remember, we're going to drag it. We're going to find the gray spot to the right and click OK. Now, one thing that I saw in my example that I didn't like, that I said we were going to fix, I'm already using this blue for furniture. And this is not furniture, this is everything. So I think we should change the color of this. So if we go back to this one, that's as simple as clicking into color. And maybe we choose like a black or a gray or something that like is kind of bland. Colors will be by category and something bland will just be everything. Another thing, I like to show these different options. They're not personally for me, but again, if people are more artistic than I am, if you don't like these circles, if you click on shapes, you can choose like stars or triangles, or sometimes I'll choose like the filled in circle just because maybe that looks a little nicer. I don't know. You'll come to find that there are billions of customizable things to do in Tableau, so I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but I do know some people like having different shapes. All right, we're getting ready for a break, but just for the sake of completion, the last thing we'll do in a little extra practice for you guys, let's get rid of these grid lines one last time. So again, that's format, or sorry, right click format, all the way over to lines, grid lines.
I remember last time I asked if you could make that a default.
You did ask that, and I probably said something like, I'll follow up, but I haven't, so you
No, I
caught
think
me.
you said no, and then I said, maybe you could do it in the, like in the back end, like.
Yeah. I know there's ways you can do that. For instance, like in the color palette. Sorry, this is a bad example.
Like deja vu.
Yeah, you can actually upload your own color palettes. So for instance, at work, we have a Builder Trend branded color palette. Oh yeah, right here, look, BT Core Data Viz colors. So if I was making this for work, these are the colors that I would use so that all of our dashboards kind of look the same. So yeah, here we are. Maybe last thing I would do here, and I always have to do this, the key with our different category colors takes up a ton of room when it's over on the right. So I always like to drag that to the top. And then obviously fix the size a ton. So it goes kind of this way. And then you can actually drag these apart so they take up more room too. So voila, we went from this monstrosity to this in the matter of an hour. By the end of this course, you guys will be able to go from that to that in 5 minutes. Actually, you won't even build the ugly version. You'll just build the pretty version from the start.
Charlie, I'm sorry. Can you show again how you widened the legend up across the top?
Oh, yeah. If you just kind of, it's kind of tricky to find. In between, there's a little drag thing that will pop up.
And are there ways to like double click and have it automatically do it, like fit to width, or?
Wow, great question.
I'm really lazy.
I know you can arrange them as a row or a column, but I don't think there's a way to fit to width. No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead before we take our break and I talk through the homework. Let's just rename this to, I don't know, sales dashboard, something simple. And then let's make sure that we all save one last time. Again, calling it, since you guys are going to be publishing your homework too, I think nights like tonight, it's good to publish the CAS example so you guys can reference it as you're building your homework. So maybe you want to call this like class example or something like that. Doesn't matter. But that's just going to be for your reference. So call it whatever you want. Okay. We're going to take a break. And then we're going to have, 45 minutes to crank out the homework. But I want to go through what the homework is before we take our break. So, and I'll copy and paste this in the Slack so you can reference it too. Find a new data set, not the Superstore. It can be the one you found night one if you like the data set that you found and you want to keep working with it. If you hated it and it was hard to work with, find something else. If you saw something that someone else was using, it sparked your interest, feel free. Again, don't overthink this. I can't tell you how many times I've taught this and people have spent the full hour of homework time like trying to find the perfect data set. You'll get 6 more times to try to find one. So, and we have a long weekend, so you can look over the weekend too. But get a different data set, bring it into Tableau. Remember, you're going to open it up, choose Excel, choose your data set, bring it in. Build at least one of the charts that we covered. So you don't have to build all 3. I'd recommend it for practice. The more and more reps you get in, the better and better you're going to get at doing this. But some data sets won't have a date, right? So it'll make line charts kind of hard to use, or maybe you don't have different dimensions, so you can't do multiple bar charts or whatever. But you should be able to build at least one of those. Spend the time making it look pretty. Night 1 was all about just get something out there. Night 2 is about really utilizing the concepts and the principles that we learned tonight. And feel free to take it a step beyond just what we covered in class. Like maybe you want to change the font. Spend some time Googling and trying to figure out how to do that. Like push yourself to learn on your own. Maybe you want to change the color. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you are like, wow, the way Charlie makes his charts are perfect. But again, everyone has their own like taste. So I don't want you guys to build, be robots. I want you to be able to learn and figure out what you like on your own. Make at least 2, right? So you can toss them in a dashboard. I think it's important. Dashboards are another thing that are kind of tricky to get used to with dragging and dropping. So even if it's just 2 of the pretty much the same exact things, that's fine. Put them in a dashboard. Publish the Tableau public. Shoot me a link in Slack, and then come prepared to walk us through what you built. Let's see. Rizu, Mary, Kimberly, and Maria are off the hook since they presented tonight. So if you guys weren't one of those, we'll go through everyone eventually. But you guys are on the hot seat for next week, so maybe you'll want to take a little extra time. Or not, I don't care. That's it. Any questions on the homework?
Yeah, do we just keep adding to this night too, or do we have to create a new workbook?
Great question. I would create a new workbook. You can bring in multiple data sources and work in between 2 different data sources in one workbook. It gets a little convoluted though. So for the sake of just keeping things clean, once you save and publish tonight as the class example, I would just close out of this and start a brand new one.
So when we save this, to our laptop, or do we save it to?
It will save Tableau public. So you'll be able to reference it anytime.
So how do you retrieve it?
It's both. When you save in Tableau public, so for instance, let me open up a new.
Because when I went to file.
Let me open up a new Tableau public. Right, if I were to come back in here, you can see here's my class example night 2 that I just saved. Here's the one I saved before. Here's night 1. So you can always open back up ones that you've saved. I guess a better answer would be they stay in sync between Tableau public and your local. So yeah, you will have to sign in. Any other questions on the homework? Otherwise, you guys are, like always, if you need to get out of here, feel free to get out of here. You do have the long weekend, so you don't need to do it tonight. I will be around for the next 45 minutes at least. If you have questions and want to knock it out now, that's great. But any questions on the homework itself? Otherwise, everyone's kind of free to do what they want to do.
Can you put the slide back up?
Yes, I will put that up and I will copy and paste it into the chat. Don't trip and fall in the dark.
So I need to create an account and it's requesting me to create one.
Yeah, I think we did have to do that last week, right? Or on Monday, right? You guys remember? We had to create an account, yep. I'm gonna turn the light back on.
Yes, please.
I can just see someone falling, including myself. And then Crystal being at my neck.
Yeah, I need your help.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me say. So I got babies.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Charlie, did you see my Slack by any chance?
I
Okay.
did.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you. Yeah, well, Mondays is just publishing something, so, yeah.
So, okay, so we're gonna do these different things for homework, but. I don't know what the hell, I don't know where I'm at, I don't know where I'm at, okay, so if I get out of it, like, tip, tap this, plus, I'm gonna use this, and so the smart screen is.
Yes, sir. Well, what's that thought when you?
I did, okay, good.
Got that?
Now, I could not figure out, like, where they found all those different sets.
Oh, it says, yeah, so that's great. But all this is supposed to be there's your class example.
Okay.
So if you ever need to open that up.
Okay.
Here. You use, so when you publish it, this is where it would go. Oh, gotcha. And learn.
Okay.
So this will have all sorts of data sets for it.
Okay.
The only call out there is if you download this instead of an Excel. When you open it up, normally you click Excel, click text file instead. Otherwise, it works exactly the same.
Okay.
And then at the bottom here, so there's lots of good stuff on this page, obviously. And these are all kind of like vetted by Tableau, that they know work good for it. If you want to be brave, there's some there's some other sources out here. You can
Go
go
with the
to.
basics.
Yeah,
Go with the basics.
I like that. I can't tell you how frustrated I've gotten years past where people spend the whole more time looking for the perfect data set. I'm like, this.
Use what we have.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got everything except for I lost the last part of my work and grouping them into.
Okay, that's fine.
This is to activate. So I arrowed all the way back to the first. Add source. So I arrowed. For some reason I lost my sheet two. There, I lost it. But then I regained it here. For some reason, it's a big thing. And then I have nothing for that. All right, so my
Like I said, that redo, undo button, do wonders. Just keep that.
I created created it,
Yeah.
but I don't know what happened.
Well, that's fine, because you won't necessarily need this, like you're gonna have to rebuild it for the homework anyways, so, I'd rather you lose the class example than, the actual homework that you're working on.
And I missed the step on how to group them together, or will we do that for the homework?
How to group what together?
How you have all three categories on one slide.
Oh, like the dashboard?
Yes.
Gotcha. I can show you that real quick, it's pretty straightforward. That's just, here, I'll just start a new one for you. When you click new dashboard, right, I always like to change the size to be automatic.
Where did you go to click new dashboard?
It's the second button down here. Nope, new sheet's the first button.
Oh, I see it.
New dashboard's the second.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, there we go. We had it the whole time. Seriously, all you need to do. Remember, we were going back and forth on the scatter plot, which is state. We need to spend time looking up pretty later. But then we just set that right there. Oh, now. You should be able to sign. Did you get that account?
I did.
Yep.
Okay.
So once you sign in, then it will publish it to your Tableau public account. And your Tableau public account by the end of this course will have all 8 weeks of assignments and homework and stuff. So you'll actually walk away with a pretty robust portfolio to go and brag and show different people everything you built. You can reference it whenever. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna drop some stuff in the chat. Okay. Don't save it, I don't care.
And then what is homework? Just creating our own cache.
Yep, so let me show you real quick.
So I'll go to dashboard in the header to create new.
Yeah, give me 1 second. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is actually go out to, you're gonna want to find your own data set. So we're gonna use the Superstore data for all of our class examples. But for the homework, I'm gonna have you guys try to do the same thing with a different data set. So this is the one you just published. If you go towards Tableau provides a tool once a year, this is that's what we're using. But there's all sorts of other data sets you can use. So spend some time, a couple minutes, going through here, find one you like. And then the goal, you just need to build one of these, either a line chart or a chart of scatter plot, something real pretty. Like spend time, it can look really good. And then with your own data, publish that. So if you don't know, that's fine.
Oh, that's so much. Okay, let's see if I can have you.
If not, you can email it to me or,
Search your email.
what was I gonna say?
This one I can have my issues. It's fine.
I wrote that down.
Okay.
Horrible.
Okay, so Charlie, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You downloaded it and everything.
No, look at the basic, and I like it, so. And I don't know where.
Ah, yeah. Oh. Yep.
Okay, Charlie, for some reason. Does that go Superstore?
Mhm.
It's not the only one that's here.
It's not what?
Perhaps this is.
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah. Whatever you want.
Yes.
You know, yeah, you may not be able to. Or you just want to see what the data set looks like. So actually, Tableau, yeah. Kind of nice, actually, I can just show you on here. If you open up Tableau and click on, right click on Excel, where's my mouse? And then click on your Superstore data. When you drag orders in, it will actually show you a little, drag this up. Try this here. So there, it gives you a little preview right here of what the data looks like. So you can scroll through and see all the different fields and rows and columns.
And so what you would just select those?
For what?
For my homework, I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, so you'll want something different than the Superstore data.
Oh, I thought that's the one we were using, but that's.
We use Superstore for class, and then your homework is to find a different data set
Oh, okay.
and use that.
So.
Oh, I think that's left over from your download.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do I just go to dashboard and do new?
I would start a new project altogether.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So where do I go? Cause I think
Save that, just do save. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll wait for this. Save. So what I would do is I would go ahead and here's our example. Yeah, you might need to on the, because you signed in on the, like the app, this website now.
Alright. So I'm having the same frustrations as I did last week. Which part of it is, I don't know the data, right?
Yeah.
But the other part of it is, probably I should start with a question. And then figure out how to answer the question. I can do all of the manipulations, but it doesn't matter what I put on it. I don't end up with anything that looks meaningful. But it's gotta be because I don't have a question and I don't know the data.
Yeah. It is a definite forced activity here where you're trying to replicate specific charts as opposed to later on in the course where you will choose which chart better shows what you're trying to show. Like scatter plot may not be a good chart type for this at all, depending on the question or the data or anything like that, right? So there's definitely, don't feel frustrated. There's definitely some forced aspect of like trying to replicate things. But like, what do we have here? Cost, aircraft time, service in hours, cost $12. Oh, species. Okay, that's sweet stuff. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. Let's see.
Yeah, well, I've got the data, here. So I can look at it then.
But yeah, I think the general ethos of what you're saying of like start with a question, try to figure it out, but that's definitely going to take longer. Like that's, you know, I work with data sets for days or weeks sometimes before I figure it out. So don't feel like it's like taking the easy way out to just build a chart, make it look pretty. We will definitely get to the exploratory data analysis and some of the deeper dives as we progress here. Okay, sweet. So here,
Sorry.
I just closed out something.
Oh, okay.
Is your profile. So here is the class homework that we published tonight. So everything that you save will save to this. And by the end of the course, you'll have 8 class examples, 8 homeworks, and then we have really nice portfolios. If you want to put it on a resume, we'll like people would look and see what you built. But this is habitable public on like the website. So everything that we save and publish in the desktop will go here. The sample data is up here under learn and then sample data. So this will be anything that you want to download, like if you're interested in NFL, download it. And then from there, you will just open up Tableau and then click Excel and click your data set.
Okay. And this first one is the one we're already.
Yeah.
Wants to choose something.
Yep. Yeah, so you don't have to, for a couple different reasons. One is like it gets really boring working with the same data over and over and over again. And 2, it's good practice to try to build things because not all data is structured exactly the same. So obviously, like if you were in industry and you were someone just said, hey, I have this question, here's the data, you kind of have to get used to becoming familiar with it and learning it and going about building something with it.
So it's asking me how do I open up the file, and I would want to open it up in Microsoft Store.
You actually won't need.
Just have Notepad, WordPad, Microsoft Store.
You don't even need to open it. So we'll just go to, let's open up Tableau now. You go just switch right down here. Maybe you want to save it on like your desktop or something there.
Oh. It is on my desktop.
Oh, perfect. One small tweak is this is a CSV instead of an Excel. It's something a little different, but it's super easy, don't worry. Maybe go back to your desktop. Let's try to see it there.
No, why does it stack my bars one way and so, okay. I got it, they're side by side, and I like that. But if I don't put both of them up here, it stacks them. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah,
So
right.
they can be side by side, I have to put them both.
Yeah, because otherwise you only have one column. So say this is another column that we need.
Okay, got it.
So we got one opening, probably have four more openings.
Oh, yeah.
Made you keep clicking it. I'll put the hand up on that one.
And I heard you say that you had classes last week.
On Monday, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I use,
I was told classes started yesterday.
yeah, I'm super mad. I use week and night. And like
But
I
I
always
think-
say, this is 8 weeks, but it's not. It's 4 weeks, it's 8 nights, and I just use them.
I didn't have a code to get in, so I was over at the library.
Oh, really? Shoot.
And then I didn't know who the instructor was to.
Message? Yeah.
I'm like,
You know what might actually work really well if you could get it on your phone or laptop? The Slack app is actually pretty sweet. I have, and I share this all on Monday too, so feel free. Feel free to call me if that ever happens again. Slack is definitely what I check the most, but if you can't get it, email or cell. Here,
okay, so here I am, and where's all my work?
Yeah, so the good news is that's your work from tonight, that's the way you use colors for the results, yeah. But if we want to use that new data set, remember just be with a text file instead of Excel. But other than that, everything will be exactly the same.
Just starting it.
Yeah. Yep.
Graph.
Yep. And then there's your one, it's champions, if it's downloaded. Click on that.
And that's what we're
Yep. I'll make sure it's started.
And it's 4 weeks, not 8.
4 weeks, yeah.
And what is the next one that's not?
I think the next one is SQL, which is structured querying language. So instead of like downloading Excel, it'll actually pull your own data. So here we got it. Actually, we're in chat. And from there. So once you build this and you publish it,
It just doesn't make any sense.
when you publish it, remember how it takes you to a new tab and shows us that that's your profile or whatever.
Vaguely.
Do we have, oh, over here. This is where we had it, perfect. So when you click save, it will publish it. You click save and this will pop up and this will be your chart or whatever. All you need to do is just send me this link at the top. And that's how you like submit your homework. So you just have a little
Okay.
But yeah, you should be good to start playing around now.
All right.
All right, I got another question. So, I was looking at this, feet above ground, it's got 250,300 going. That does not make any sense whatsoever.
Mhm.
So I want to order my data. Okay, what do we actually got in this column? Well, we don't have these hundreds of thousands in this column. Why is it doing that?
Yeah, so this is, it's actually a great question. Right, up until this point, we've only ever worked with sums, right? So, here, let me just show this.
Yeah, these are all reasonable feet above ground.
Right. That's okay. But it's summing all of them up, right? So 4,000 here, 1,900 there, 2,500 there. So, we don't need to have here. If we change the right, like,
Oh,
change it from sum to like an average, now it'll show the average distance above ground.
There.
Whereas before, like there's some instances where maybe like the descent, you have 10,000 rows, but the elevation is only 1 foot.
Mhm.
When you sum, it's gonna show there's 10,000 feet versus something else could be like 500 feet, but there's only 1 row. So, yeah, we actually haven't done anything other than sum up to this point, so that makes sense.
You really need to figure out the story one, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But I will say, I was just saying for it too, this early in the class, don't get super overwhelmed with telling like you're not actually presenting to a company right now.
Like, so we have to have a group, so, okay, so that's how it's like that. Number strikes. So wildlife, total number of strikes. And distributed by
Yeah.
who they
Different
are.
species, yeah.
Okay. So, I can't remember how, but, so I need to do this type of graph, I need to do a line graph.
Yeah, for the homework, you only need to do one. So if you spend some time making those look really pretty, that'll be
Okay.
great. If you want to get some other practice though, the bar chart, line chart, graph and scatter plot are the 3.
What we gonna put on the dashboard?
Ideally, you could put 2 on the dashboard first.
I just wanted to tell you that they have, wireless house, the wall for $10. I have one, and I was using it at home today, and then I got here and I was like, oh, but thank you.
Oh, shoot.
'Cause I'm
Can
like,
you sit back down for just a second? I told Crystal I would take pictures. and I just forgot until you said her name. Will you guys pretend like you're listening to me talk for like 1 second?
Oh, okay.
Thanks. Thank God you referenced Crystal. She would have fired. Let me pretend like I have this back open too. Okay. Oh yeah, everyone's deep in thought. Gosh, that's good. Maybe some. Can you guys raise your hands for a second? We're getting some great pictures. Okay, that's good. And then here, take one of the in front.
Oh, sure.
Good. Perfect. Thank you for reminding me.
All right, I just have to.
Okay, everyone remote is offline, so I can end the stream.
Okay, I'll see you.